Our first presenter is Fozia Gulab, joining us online from Pakistan. Her research is titled Social Justice Policies and Practices, a survey study of public schools in selected districts of Karachi, Pakistan. Fozia is an assistant professor in the Department of Education at the Institute of Business Management in Karachi. She has also served as the faculty member, coordinator, and deputy director at the Notre Dame Institute of Education. A passionate educator, she is committed to the personal and professional growth of her students and has been recognized both locally and internationally for her contributions. Fozia, we are delighted to have you with us. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Marietta, for a lovely introduction. Good morning to everyone listening to my presentation. It's a pleasure to be with everyone and presenting my research today. The topic of my research was, as already discussed or explained by Mayet, it was about social justice policies and practices, and I examined or explored those policies and practices between two districts of Karachi. Now, how did I come to that problem? Actually, social justice have been my passion since my youth. So if I talk about 80s, when I was in grade, maybe late 80s, I was in grade 9 and 10. And then I experienced a lot of social injustice, not only in the school, in the classroom, but also in the society. And then, I did not know what to do. It was only that I was, and many other girls like me, we were exposed to social injustices in the society as well as in the schools. For example, we were never allowed to ask a question. We were never allowed to express ourselves. We were not expected to say no to elders. So be it teachers or parents or any other family member. So always had to listen to people, right? There was no voice. So even though at that time also, we thought, I and other friends, we thought that we had our voice, but then we were told that because you are girls, you are females, and in the society you have no voice, and the only privilege that we would get was that we were admitted in girls' school. So then, definitely being young and I couldn't do much, but this remained my passion. And then I started working. I got with a priest who was working about social justice, and then I joined him. So I think for almost 10 years, I worked for justice, for social justice in the country. I attended many seminars. I did many sessions. I tried to give awareness to people. But then I had to stop my passion over there when this priest had to leave the country because his life was in threat, and same was with everyone else associated with him or was associated in that organization. So then I stopped and I switched my career towards education. Now, I have been educator for 25 years, and I have been visiting many schools. I've been teaching many teachers across country. And what I realized that problem is that teachers don't talk about social justice, right? I have never seen, and the injustices that I experienced maybe 40 years back, I believe still those injustices are happening in the society. So even to date, I can observe injustice, social injustices. For example, if you look at this picture, the first picture is of a classroom. So look at the situation or the context where the students are sitting. So there are many classrooms like this where there are no facilities. Let's say facility of good seating arrangement, facilities of maybe multimedia, facility of electricity. And in the second picture, if you look at this picture, this is the picture of a school in one of the schools. Not all schools are like this, but many schools are like this also. So like look at the injustice, social injustice. Like this school is being like ruined. So this is termed as ghost school. So on the papers, official documents, the school exists, but there is no teaching taking place here. There are no teachers. So we have the term of ghost schools, ghost teachers. So which means the government gets funding for all those teachers and schools, but they don't exist, or they exist physically, but in a condition that children don't go to schools and they never receive education. So what happened? Like my passion for justice and social justice, it was nurtured again when I joined MELF program, MELF fellowship. And therefore, when the time came for a research project, so I thought that I should do the research on a topic which is of interest to me. So this topic comes from my lived experiences, not only from my lived experiences and observations, but then if I analyze the curriculum and the pedagogies. Now, since after 10 years working for social justice, I became teacher, educator, trained teacher, and all that, then my interest got shifted into education. So, when I analyzed the curriculum, nothing about social justice, right? No teaching. If I go through the pedagogies that teachers use in teaching students, they don't. The curriculum and the pedagogy is only for teaching the content, not what are the rights of the people, how we should include others, how we should question and why should we question, how should we treat everyone equally, nothing like that. It's only rote memorization and learning of the content, learning what is given in the books. So that is what is a curriculum. So education, if you look at the systematic inequities, it is like education favors the elite. So elite people, people with more money, they have access to good schools where their building is good, teachers are good, children receive education. But people who are marginalized, so marginalized in terms of they are poor, they have no money, or maybe they are uneducated, or maybe they belong to a particular minority groups, they don't have access to quality education. So all those were the issues that like motivated me to select this topic for my research project. Now, the aim of this research project was I wanted to investigate like how much social justice values are being taught by the teachers in the school through the pedagogies through they use and through teaching of different subjects. Because in Pakistan, like starting from grade 1, children learn, I think, almost 8 subjects. 8 in some schools, 8, some schools 10. So there are many subjects that students keep learning. So it's English, Urdu, science, math, social studies, Islamiyat, art, religion, many things they have to learn, many subjects. So I wanted to investigate whether and how social justice is being taught through those subjects, through the teaching or maybe the content. And to achieve that aim, I constructed 3 objectives. So objective 1 was related with like to examine the social justice values, their integration into the teaching through instructional approaches. So that was the first objective. And the social justice values that I examined or I explored were democracy, equality, justice, diversity, equity, and inclusive practices. So those were the 6 values that I explored. Now, second objective was related with whether teachers get opportunity for continuous professional development programs, which is CPD, to learn about social justice, to learn how to integrate social justice principle into their teaching and into their classroom practices. And the third objective was like if there are educational policies related with social justice, so whether those policies are implemented in the school, whether teachers are aware of those policies, and whether they are practiced. So those were the three research objectives. Now, to further get into my research, related with my aim and objectives, I constructed three research questions. The first research question had 6 hypotheses. So I constructed null hypothesis. There were 8. First question was responded to 6 hypotheses, and then there was one hypothesis which was related to research question 2, and there was one hypothesis related to question 3. So these are the 3 research questions, and hypotheses are in the booklet explained. Now, the research methodology that I used for my research was survey study. So I started all this process with defining a problem. Then I reviewed literature. I consulted or I reviewed good literature about social justice from local as well as international perspective, how it can be integrated in the schools. Now, based on the literature review, then I constructed my hypothesis. So 8 hypotheses were constructed. Now, when sample to be selected was, the population of my research, it consisted of 27,000 teachers across Karachi. Now I couldn't get access to those 27. So, and there are 6 districts. So the districts were my population as well as the teachers. Now from 6 districts, I selected randomly 2 districts, which are like District South and District Korangi. So 2 districts were selected. To select those 2 districts and to approach to those teachers, I had to get permission from official body which is called STEDA, Sindh Teacher Education Development Authority. So I wrote a letter to them. I got the permission of the executive director. In fact, he showed his support. He liked the topic of my research, and I told them why do I want to do the research and the aims and objectives. So I got permission, and then with the executive director's permission, I was given access to meet the district heads in both the districts. So I took appointment from the district heads, went to them, met them, and then explained them the purpose of my research and how will it benefit the schools and the teachers and government. So when they all were convinced, they allowed me, and then I collected data through a questionnaire. Now that questionnaire was in Google form. Now the questionnaire was not constructed by me, but it was constructed by a researcher from Lahore. So I asked her permission and I adapted that questionnaire. So I made some changes according to my needs or my requirements, and then that questionnaire was converted into Google form, and the link of the Google form was shared with the executive director as well as the district heads, and then they shared that link with the teachers who then responded to that questionnaire. So 2,219 teachers participated in my research. So they all responded to those questions. Now the data which I received, I statistically analyzed it, and then I drew conclusions and I wrote the report or the results of that. Now the outcomes of my research. Now see, I was actually surprised when I was analyzing the data. Now what surprised me was like most of the respondents, like most of my null hypothesis, they got rejected because teachers, they believed that they are practicing social justice in the classrooms. So I trust them. Okay. So most of them said that they practice all those values which I mentioned, democracy and equity and diversity, all that. The outcome basically was that they never get opportunity for CPD sessions and they have never learned about social justice. So that's why, based on that, the outcome of this research for Mercy World is that I am proposing two manuals. The first manual is integration of social justice values into classroom teaching. So it's a manual for continuous professional development of teachers where I have written daily plans. So it is, I think, 7 days training for in-service teachers about social justice. So each day we teach them about a value and how they can integrate social justice into different subject teaching. So that's first outcome. And the second outcome for the Mercy World is also for teaching of social justice at teacher education, which is at the B.Ed level. Because as I said earlier, that I have been a teacher educator for 25 years. I have been working and training teachers. I have been preparing modules for teacher education, curriculum for teacher education, but never ever, wherever I went to represent my institute, people never talk about social justice, that this has to be also taught. Now, see, I believe this has to be taught through education because then only there will be peace and harmony and fairness, inclusivity in the society. Now, my society faces lots of social injustices because it's never taught. Teachers are never taught. So, the second contribution or outcome of this research is course guide. So, course outline, which is teaching of social justice, proposed course outline for teacher education. So, I am going to propose these two to the STADA, which is a body in my province which looks after teacher education, as well as my own university also. I am going to propose these two. If we can have them, if we can start working or training or teaching our teachers about social justice, so then they can practice it in the schools, and then when students get out of the school, the society is peaceful. So these are the two research outcomes for the Mercy World out of my research. Also, I consider these questions also as research outcome. Now, why do I consider these questions as outcome is like, see, all 2,219 teachers, they said in 8 or 10 subjects that they teach, they merge social justice values and they teach them to the students. But like, look at the society. The picture in the society is very different. No social justice at all. We don't have health facilities. We don't have educational facilities. We don't have infrastructures, right? We don't have roads. We don't, like, the situation is pathetic, right? Social justice. I mean, if things are there, but they are not there for everyone. So social justice is actually not practiced in the society. So these questions are also, I believe, is the outcome, like, of for the Mercy World, that if teachers are saying they are integrating, they are merging, then how come there are still inequalities, injustices in the society? And then also, how do students, teachers, they perceive, how can social justice persist in the society after schooling is completed? And the last question is like, why does there persist a gap? Why is there a gap between social justice taught in the schools and social justice practically practiced in the society? So there is a vast gap, right? So the question is, why is? So maybe these could be questions for future researchers or again for educators to think about. But this is the third outcome of my research. I thank you for listening to me, and I am open to questions.
Thank you, Fozia, for giving us a deep and very comprehensive research. You've shown us the importance of strengthening social justice policies in education through targeted teacher training that brings values of justice, peace, honesty, and equity into everyday practice. Thank you so much, Fozia. Please stay online for the questions and answer. We have a 15-minute Q&A session, but please, for those who would like to have their questions, please state your name, your country, and then your question. Okay, can we start from the audience? Oh, yes, there is a question from the online participant. Angela, can you please read it out?
Thank you. This is a question from Isabel Salter from Australia. Fozia, congratulations on your research and high survey response rate. Fozia, do your guides help teachers integrate social justice values into existing subjects or to teach social justice as its own topic?
Thank you for the question. Yes, existing subjects, right? So the guides will teach teachers how to merge social justice values in the existing subjects that they are teaching.
Thank you, Fozia, for clarifying it. Another question?
So the second question we have online is, does Fozia have any thoughts herself on how social justice can persist in society after school ends? You mentioned it was for future research, but do you have any thoughts on this?
Yes, I have thoughts. I think social justice can persist in the society if we live by it, if we give awareness. So like see, if I give you my example, I'm very much passionate about social justice and peace and all that. So like whether I am in the classroom, out of the classroom, in the market, so I make it a point that if something that is not appropriate happens, I do raise my voice. So I not only raise my voice, but I keep educating people. So I believe like social justice has to be lived by people. So all of us or me or anyone else who think so, we have to give way because again, teaching about social justice is one thing, living social justice is another thing. We can teach, but if students will not see us living, then they will not practice it. So what I do actually is giving awareness and also living by the values of social justice. So those are the two things that I think if like, everyone does in the society. So I tell someone and someone else tells the other person and third person, and that's how I will believe like the society will be educated about the topic.
Yep.
Hi Fozia, it's Libby Blom. Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm from Australia. Sorry about that. My question is, in the beginning you spoke about that many people who are educated are considered to be more elite, and I was wondering if they then would become the teachers, that they come from a different way of understanding social justice, maybe a privileged way of understanding social justice. So when they say, yes, we know social justice, are they thinking of it through a different lens of privilege?
See, Libby, what happens, elite are the people who don't want social justice in the society. Okay, that's my analysis, that's what I believe. Elite in my country, they don't want any sort of justice or peace or equality in the country. Those are the people who focus on injustices, right? Why? Because elite get all the facilities, right? It is the poor who suffer. So actually, poor economically, what I'm talking about. So see, like you all must have heard about floods, recent floods we are having, like floods in the country. and everyone dying or suffering or losing houses or their animals, their crops, they all are poor. So elite in my country, they don't need social justice. They have everything. Social justice is needed by people like us. We need social justice so that we should be paid fair wages. We need social justice. We need proper roads. Like, see, floods 2 weeks back or 3 weeks back, I was stuck into the floods, my colleagues, and it was so like we were all, thank God we did not drown in the water, but then we need social justice because when we were on the road, it was raining and we did not know where the main hole was, where road was broken. Like, see, elite in my country, they have all the privileges, right? They will not talk about social justice. So people who don't have, only they will talk about it. And therefore I believe, like, even if elite go through the education system and we teach them, because I teach many elite also, as well as people who are underprivileged, people, I have not seen people changing drastically, for the simple reason, like, they have all the facilities, and the people who are not privileged, they keep on talking about social justice. So yes, we can work. I mean, through education, I can try, and others, and we all can try teaching people about social justice. And I hope they all will understand that social justice is right of every citizen, which is people don't understand, right? They don't consider it as their right. So all the social injustices that happen to us, the elite say it's because of our fate, right? So only fate or is blamed, or the maximum they say it's God's will. You have no facilities, you are not included, you are not given justice, it's God's will. So, like, we really have to work on social justice through education.
Thank you, Fozia. Any more question? We can entertain one more question. Charlotte?
Good morning, Fozia. It's Charlotte from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Well done on your presentation today in this research. I'd like to know, what do you most want the children of Pakistan to understand as a result of social justice being more integrated in their education?
Okay. I want the children in the schools to understand that they have a right to choose their leaders. I want the children to understand they have right to be included. So whether I belong to whatever my religious background, whatever my economic background, whatever I am. So I want children to understand that it's their right to be included, to be given quality education. So those children should speak for their right. So what worries me is that people don't understand their rights. They don't ask for their rights, right? They just keep quiet, whatever happens to them. So I want sort of people to have awareness about their rights, their responsibilities, about how much wages, about women also or girls also, what are their rights in education, for education, rights, what are the responsibilities of the government. So, people should understand their rights. This is what I want the children in my schools. Also, one more thing that I really want my children or students in the schools is to ask questions. Like, students in the schools are not taught to ask questions. They are not, like, encouraged to ask questions, right? In my society, actually, its obedience is always focused. So yes, yes to the elders, so whether it is teacher or mother. So questioning is never appreciated. So I really want my students to learn to question, the injustices that are happening, or learn to question why things are happening. So those are some of the things that I really expect students to learn or to be aware of.
Thank you, Fozia, for all those clarifications and making us understand about your research. Thank you so much.